Let's think about your career for a second. Is it just a path you're walking, or are you forging a new one, like a samurai? Today, we're diving into a path to wealth that's inspired by that exact kind of discipline. We're going to uncover 7 hidden traps that keep people stuck and figure out how to adopt a master's mindset to completely conquer them.
This is really the foundation for everything we're about to talk about. It's like the first lesson a master gives to a student, and it all boils down to one simple question. Are you okay with living the same life as everyone else? Or are you willing to do what it takes to create your own? And that brings us right to our very first lesson, what we're calling the foundational choice. Seriously, the decision you make right here is going to define the entire rest of your journey. So the first trap, this is one that so many of us fall into, maybe without even realizing it, working only for the paycheck. Now on the surface, it makes total sense, right? But what if that logic is actually just a beautiful cage, one that's limiting your real, long-term growth? Look at this. It lays out the 2 paths so clearly. Path A, that's the tempting one. It offers you that immediate gratification, a high starting salary that looks fantastic, but so often it just leads to a dead end where your spirit kind of drains away and your growth just stops. Path B, though, that's the samurai's path. It's all about getting skills and building long-term value. It might mean less cash up front, but your abilities and your earning potential, they grow exponentially over time. So the real question is, are you optimizing for today's paycheck or for tomorrow's freedom? So how do you actually choose Path B? Well, you have to forge your own weapons. And in our world, your sword is a high-income skill. It could be copywriting, video editing, coding. Whatever it is, mastering a craft like this doesn't just make you valuable, it makes you free. It's your ticket to breaking away from depending on just one boss.
Okay, so your skills are sharpened. What's next? It's time for the next lesson, forging equity. This is the part where you stop just trading your time for money and you start building assets that last.
And that leads us directly to the second trap, completely ignoring equity. See, when you only work for a salary, you're basically stuck on a hamster wheel, always running against the clock. Your income is always limited by the number of hours in a day.
And this right here shows the critical difference. A salary is just a transaction, a trade for your time. But equity is ownership. It's like a seed you plant that grows into a massive tree. The difference is so simple, but it's profound. A salary feeds you for today, but ownership, that can feed you for a lifetime.
This piece of ancient wisdom is perfect because it sets up our next point beautifully. Mastering your own skills is absolutely essential, but it's not enough to win the whole war. You just can't achieve huge success all by yourself in a vacuum. Which brings us right to trap number 3, this belief that you have to do everything by yourself. Think about it. Every great success story, from ancient clans to modern tech startups, is built on collaboration. You need allies, you need mentors, you need a network to multiply your efforts and tackle challenges you could never face alone.
All right, so now we're going to pivot. We've been talking about the external stuff, like skills and alliances. But now we're going to turn inward to the world of the mind. Because just like a Zen monk, a modern samurai has to conquer their own internal foes. These next few traps, they're all battles of mental discipline.
We live in an age of just complete information overload. You know what I'm talking about. We're constantly bombarded with advice, opinions, endless possibilities. And all this cognitive overload, it doesn't lead to better decisions. It leads to paralysis. You end up doing nothing because you're trying to process everything. So how do you cut through all that noise? Well, you follow the Zen path to clarity. First, you have to decide on your one main goal. What's your destination? Second, you have to be ruthless and filter every single piece of information based on whether it helps you get there. And third, stop listening to everybody. Only seek advice from people who have actually walked the path and achieved what you want to achieve.
But filtering the outside world, that's only half the battle. The most deceptive noise, the sneakiest, it almost always comes from within. And that is our next internal foe, and maybe the most dangerous one, ego. It's that little voice whispering that you're too good for this, or that you already know enough, that you don't need to learn. Ego is the ultimate barrier to growth.
The antidote to ego is something called the beginner's mind. This is the mindset of staying open, curious, and humble, no matter how much you think you know. It's about understanding that there's always more to learn. That humility is what allows for real, continuous improvement, and eventually, true mastery.
So what happens when a big ego runs into a bad outcome? Well, you get our 6th trap, the habit of blaming other people for where we are.
It's so easy to point fingers, right? At the economy, at your boss, at your past. But every single time you do that, you are literally giving away your power to change things.
This proverb is just incredibly powerful. See, blaming others keeps you stuck as a victim. Blaming yourself, well, that's a step towards taking responsibility, but it can lead to shame. The final stage, the samurai stage, is blaming no one. It's pure accountability. It's looking at a situation, accepting it, and just asking, okay, what can I do now? That is where true power really is.
And now we've arrived at the final battle. This is the one that holds more people back than any other trap combined. This is all about breaking through that last barrier to your true potential.
The ultimate trap is the comfort zone. It's safe, it's familiar, it's predictable, and it is the place where dreams and potential just go to die. Staying inside that zone is the very definition of stagnation.
I want you to think of it like this: a perfect, unbroken circle drawn all around you. It feels protective, right? But it's not. It's really a prison. And as long as you stay inside, you can never, ever discover what lies beyond it.
But here is the secret. That circle isn't fixed. Every single time you do something that scares you, every time you learn a new skill or take on a tough challenge, you push those boundaries out. The circle actually expands. And what used to be terrifying, it becomes your new normal. Real growth is just the constant, deliberate expansion of that circle.
So, I want you to really understand this. Your potential for growth is infinite. The territory that's waiting for you outside your current comfort zone is vast. The only question left is the one you see right here. How will you claim it?